Has been an official 24 hours since I started to play Grow a Garden, and a lot has happened. So if you guys have already seen the first part of my Grow Garden journey, today we are going to be venturing into layouts. I didn't realize when you're cropping and you're growing everything on your garden that the things inside the garden are going to grow to 50 feet tall. So I have to inevitably figure out how to climb my crops now and try to get to the top and harvest them. But I also run into an issue where everything is just unesthetically unpleasing to the eye, for me at least. So I have to lay out everything for it to make sense. The nice part is I found out that you can expand your garden. So I do have to get this much money in order to do so. I don't have that much money to start with. I know Sean and so many other people that ended up coming into my private server from the link in the video gave me some items to go ahead and pretty much sell. I eventually ended up getting around 26 million coins, and that helped a lot when it came to getting a bunch of necessary things such as the trowel and some other small little things like the garden stuff. So I have to go ahead and I have to reorganize my garden, guys. Like, we're getting to a point where I'm just not satisfied with the layout of how everything looks right now. I also wanted to do like a time lapse of my garden. I believe I did over 4, maybe even 6 hours worth of footage where it's just an overlap of absolutely everything that just happens on my farm. The little moles in the background are hilarious though, because I had no idea they could climb trees and stuff, so it threw me off a little bit. And I know this game is so simple and it is so simplistic, minimalist, whatever vocabulary that you want to go ahead and use for this. I had to do some research late last night because I couldn't sleep. So I ended up going onto the wiki and I read a lot about mutations, fruits, crops, everything in between to go ahead and understand fully how to prepare myself and how to make more money based on what the wiki tells me. I'm not going to watch any other content to spoil anything that ends up happening with this because I want an organic experience. So let's go ahead and get started with part 2 of just basically figuring out what I'm doing with my garden officially. Okay, first things first is I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out what is bloodlit right now, because this is a cycle right now for pretty much, hey, you gotta go give stuff to the owl, but it's kind of hard for me to like distinguish what in the world is what because I'm blind. Okay, so strawberry, and I want to be able to get more points to kind of get more stuff from the owl, and then I'm gonna have to figure out once it becomes morning to remove everything inside of the garden and move it around. I think the most important part for me right now is trying to figure out what trees should go with what trees. If it's a tropical tree like a pineapple, I called the coconut a pineapple. The coconut trees go with the crops that are tropical related, and the desert trees go with like other things that are meant to go with it. And then for people that might be coming brand new to my channel, I have a habit of not knowing what is what, so I'm gonna call things improperly and we're just gonna roll with it at this point. And for everybody who just knows, you just know. If you know, you know. All right, so oh wait, nope, there might be a apple down here. No, that's a celestial. Oh my goodness, dude, it's so hard to tell what is what because I can't see. Something else mutated on my farm and I just can't seem to find it. Is it up there? Oh, maybe it's one of the cactus fruits because I forgot the cactuses drop fruit. Okay, I finally made it up here. Okay, frozen dragon fruits. There we go, dragon fruit. One of the dragon fruits were mutated. Wait, there might have been another. There we go. That was a bigger one. Okay, so coconut. Cactus is not. Okay, so I think that might have been it. And I'm also stuck between 2 cactuses. Okay, so that's all I can physically find, at least to the eye for me. I don't have the mental fortitude to continuously try to find these, so take all mutated plants. This is something that I also missed when I did my first run through of the game, is I could actually just hand everything over. Yay! Okay, so I got another night staff. All right, sweet. Now what does this actually do? Grants extra moonlit mutations per night cycle. Okay, so I am gonna place you here again. one, and I'm not that far off on actually like getting the next one for the next item pretty much. So I'm gonna try to harvest as much as I physically can, and either one, give it to the owl if it's bloodlit, or end up selling it. So this is my main mission right now, is just making as much space as I can, because of course I gotta remove everything. There's so much stuff in the way that I just can't see, and things just don't make sense to me, so it's gotta get moved. I don't know, am I the only person on here on the platform, right? If you guys have like a really big farm, do you guys just get like picky with how you guys lay your stuff out? Because right now for me, I'm just losing my mind on how I have my farm laid out. I don't know if I'm the only person on here that's just like, ugh, I gotta reorganize everything. All right, so let me go ahead and take these to the owl, see if he wants them. I might have picked up one or two items that might have been mutated, so we'll find out here in a second. All right, let's see how many points. So, oh, I got a kiwi. What's a kiwi? What the heck? I got a, oh my god, it's a kiwi. Oh my god, wait, what the heck, dude? I got a duck. It's a kiwi. It says kiwi paper. Okay, so I'm probably not able to put that on my farm just yet because everybody else is on here, my moles and stuff. So I know, I also read on the wiki that certain animals actually give you different abilities. So some of them might be able to like give you like special things. So I forgot what it was already, which I'm surprised at this point. I did read most of this stuff at like 4 in the morning. So if I don't remember what something is, I'm gonna definitely forget. All right, yeah, so I definitely need to move like certain things from the farm because either one, I poorly placed everything, or I'm just trying to collect things that are not ready to harvest just yet. Okay, so, oh wait, no, I'm not paying attention to my stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, this is where you pay attention to the screen because I'm just like zoning out collecting so much stuff. Okay, let's see if anything comes out from this. Take all the moon mutated plants. Ooh, nice. Oh my gosh, we're so close. Okay, so let me go ahead and sell everything here because I know some of the stuff that I ended up picking up was either one, celestial wet, celestial shocked, and frozen apple. Okay, let's see what that looks like because I've never seen this before. I had a storm and I saw electricity, lightning actually hit down on certain crops, so that was really cool to watch. So I have 2 apples that are frozen and shocked and wet, but there was something else in here that I saw that was actually really awesome. So shocked. So wet and shocked dragon fruit. Oh my gosh. Now what's the difference between these two? So this is wet shocked dragon fruit. This is wet shocked dragon fruit. I think just one is bigger than the other. So that's actually really cool looking. But alas, I do need money and everything that I have in my garden needs to go. So everything has to go. All right, bye. Oh my gosh, dude, that actually gave me a lot of money. I did not expect that much money from what I had just done. Okay, moonflower looks like it might be mutating. I can't tell. Oh my god. I'm gonna go give this to the owl real quick, but I also want to question the size of that apple real quick. What the heck? All right, Mr. Owl, let's go ahead and give you some stuff real quick. Take all mutated moon blends. All right, so I got an egg from him finally. I love the fact that the game actually gives you the option to do this for free to play, right? Because you can actually get this through the shop, but free to play wise, oh my gosh, I'm happy. I also didn't expect when I got these eggs for free that it would take 4 hours, which is fine because if I do plan on doing this, I'm gonna plant them when I'm going to bed. That way I don't have to wake up in the morning and just say like, oh my gosh, I gotta plant things and wait 4 hours. Just go to plant them when I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, so this is where I am going to go ahead and introduce a time lapse because I am indecisive on how I want to do my garden, and I don't think you guys want to hear me yap the entire time doing this. So we're going to go ahead and get started and pretty much figure out what we're doing with the farm. So after spending, I want to say maybe perhaps about an hour or so, I finally figured out that the layout of the garden, it might change due to the fact that I expanded my garden finally. I also noticed that I had no idea that some plants can produce fruits and stuff like that that were the size of the planet basically. And I saw a coconut that was the size of the planets and I was surprised. During this entire time, while I was reorganizing all of my plants, moving them around, I also noticed that I probably don't like very large plants in the way of certain things. The moment I see something that's large enough, I will destroy it. I don't care what it is. If it's a rare plant that I'm not able to get as often, I will probably put it in the back next to the coconuts and just leave it there. But alas, I do have to sleep, so here is a time lapse of just my farm in general, just basically changing over the weather system, seasons, whatever you guys want to call them. So we'll go ahead and let this go, and then we'll go ahead and explain the next portion of this video. So it is the very next day, and I am continuously harvesting and selling. I want to try to get as much money as I quite possibly can so I can go ahead and afford more decorative pieces. I didn't know that we were able to have a rotation inside of the cosmetics enough to the point where we'll see different items inside of there. So there are some things that I do want to end up getting to have a more aesthetically pleasing garden to look at. I also created a shrine eventually. You guys will see. It is a shrine for the eggs. That is where this little baby mole came in. Eventually, I did have some players come in and actually give me some items for free, and I vice versa gave them a mole. So it was rather interesting. Shiver here is on my farm right now currently, and she also is having to go ahead and redecorate her entire farm as well because it's a little chaotic for the both of us right now. So I still have to go through all of my stuff. I have to sell everything and reorganize my inventory and just figure out what I am doing officially for the garden itself. So right here, I believe these are going to be the very final stages of the decorative parts of the farm before I'm officially over, for right now at the very least. The one thing that I can absolutely say is I have no idea if the attention of that wind chime that we have inside of the game is supposed to be a ground item or if we have capabilities in the future to make it hang. I spent like a good few minutes trying to figure out how to lay it on something to make it hanging off of a ceiling or something, and it would not work for the life of me, so I gave up. Then, of course, I want the entrance to have like a bit of a aesthetically pleasing entrance look type of vibe, like, oh, this is a garden. So I'm using an archway to kind of have like that entrance. And then for my shrine over here for my little eggs, I ended up creating like this little farm area where there's a little compost, a trough, or whatever the heck it's called, the little water thing, and a couple of other little items. It do have a Zen section where there's all bamboos, a statue, 2 of the benches, and whatever is going on with me doing what I'm doing right now with those little rock things, I don't know. But I ended up creating just that area. So this is just me finalizing absolutely everything at the very end. And of course, we're gonna do the grand reveal right now. So it has been 48 hours. Technically, obviously this is the second day, but we are kind of leaning in on the third day. So I'm gonna have to record the third day right after I'm done with this video. So we're at the very end and the beginning of the third day, if that makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. So this is the entranceway. So obviously this is what you guys were seeing me do at the very beginning of what I was trying to do. Also, Unforgotten helped me out with mutating my dude, look at these melons. He ended up helping me mutating these, which is throwing me off so much. It's taking up the entire map. So I'm pretty sure at some point, if I give in on actually removing these, they're gonna have to be removed because I can't see anything. But we do have the little Zen garden right over here, as I mentioned. I ended up removing the little rock things at the very bottom because they kept getting in the way, but everything else retained itself. Now, what we are gonna look at is my little garden thing, my little shrine for the eggs. So every time that I get some sort of egg, I'll bring them right over here in front of the frog statue with all of the little different flowers. So we have a little pot right here, and I believe we have 2 other pots in this little section and a little table right here for them. I tried to put the egg on top of this little table, but obviously it does not work. I actually waited until morning because I could not see anything for the life of me. Anytime nighttime falls or the blood moon thing or any type of twilight thing happens, I lose all vision. So I have to wait until morning to do certain things. This is absolutely ridiculous right now. This is crazy. Look how big this is. This is actually 79% of my entire farm right now is this ginormous moon melon. So I am gonna have to remove this at some point. I also learned about mutation on certain plants. So I have a mushroom here that is a frozen and electrocuted thing. I saw it get electrocuted. We both witnessed this, me and Unforgotten, last night, and it was actually pretty cool. But this is the final results of my this is my first upgrade on my entire farm. I still have some ways to go, clearly, but this is pretty much what I have so far. I also got a mango little tree thing over here, so that was pretty cool. So I do have another expansion right over here, but I'm not just ready to purchase it yet because I wanted to wait until this video pretty much ended and concluded. That way we could get started on day 3, figuring out what else I am going to be doing with farm, because I'm just not ready to say that I'm done with it because there's so much more I want to add to it, but I have to wait for the cosmetics to constantly refresh. So this is technically all I've done during the past 24 hours for day 2, and this is pretty much the end of day 2. And again, if you do enjoy these types of videos, make sure you do leave a like, as it does help me come out with more content like this for you guys and helps me out in the algorithm, and I appreciate you guys so much for it. Okay, bye.